let's ask the question. Are you the wife making your husband emotionally cold? A lot of women complain they don't receive warmth or compassion, empathy and understanding from their husbands, the kind that they would like. However, what they don't realize is that they may be the ones who are contributing to their husband's emotional suppression. Many depressed women say that their depression is due to the fact that the husbands simply don't care. They say, I have to be hysterical or depressed to get his attention. The problem is that the hysteria and depression are actually turning the husbands off emotionally. This is due to a number of reasons. Why is that? Why, when the woman acts out, she actually causes the husband to become emotionally cold. Number one, the husbands see the expression of acting out as a sign of weakness, as something which leads to depression and hysteria, because that's the picture that their wives are giving them. Two, the men fear that if they become emotionally expressive, they'll fall apart and the home will cease to function. They say to themselves, someone has to be the strong one if my wife's going to get melodramatic all the time. And they're right. If the wife is falling apart, he knows that he can't afford that luxury. Who will make sure that the kids are fed, that the shopping is done, and there's enough bread to put on the table? He knows that you have to be strong and tough to make it in this world. In other words, by being so emotionally reactive, these women are giving their husbands a negative picture. They're actually making it more difficult for their husbands to feel or express those feelings, and as a result, it's a problem. The husband learns not to trust his wife with his emotions. If the wife is falling apart, he'll naturally think to himself, I can't express myself to her. She can't deal with her own feelings, let alone mine, so I'm not going to say anything. To express one's emotions means to expose yourself to be vulnerable and open to attack, criticism, and especially to rejection. A depressed woman is likely to be bitter, negative, and sarcastic. This is not quite the right atmosphere in which a husband wants to expose his fears or doubts. So he shuts down. So why is it that women do not have so much fear about expressing themselves? Why do women find such expression so easy and natural? Let's get into that and understand that. Number one, women are more used to expressing themselves. As children, girls are encouraged to cry if they feel like it, or to express weakness and fear. Boys, on the other hand, are ridiculed and made fun of and shamed if they express themselves too emotionally. Number two, boys see the expression of emotion as a sign of weakness. Boys who cry or are emotionally expressive are called sissies or weaklings. The natural conclusion in the boy's mind is to be a man means not to have feelings. And if you have them, to make sure no one sees them. To be strong means to be fearless and emotionless. Number three, the women's equality movement has given us more understanding on this subject. Very ambitious, successful women in their late 30s who have made it in the world often admit to me that they sacrifice their nurturing interests in order to do so. This has happened often when I meet with women who are lawyers now and professionals, how they say to me they would give it up in a second to be a mother. Now they find themselves in their late 30s. It seems that there are conflicting drives, feelings versus thought, ambition versus nurturing, intuitive powers versus practical, down-to-earth concerns. A young man who is intent on being successful at his job or studies will not focus on two contradictory drives at the same time. He's either going to be a very warm, nurturing, but not very practical type, or he'll be an ambitious, tough guy who makes sure that he's getting ahead in his chosen field of work and provides financial securities for his family. A man can only go in one direction, and usually a man is ambitious and competitive and wants to make it at work. A young woman is being very unrealistic to expect her young husband to be able to divide himself equally or to be two people at the same time. Yet she may carry a mental image of her own father, balancing both sides of the personality, being able to express his emotion, but also competitive and very directed in terms of leadership. But that balancing both sides of his personality quite well took time as he reached his 40s and was able to finally integrate these two contradictory sides of his personality. She sees her father, but she remembers him when he was all built out already. Many wives have found that as they reach their 40s and leave their young children behind, their ambitious drives get stronger and they begin to look outward towards being more successful. Many of them finally leave the home after many years of being housewives, which is a great career in itself, and now they want work. At the same time that the husband is beginning to take more satisfaction in his home life and wanting to develop some kind of deeper emotional attachment to her and her children. As you see here, he's changing to become more softer, and she's becoming a little bit more, interested in being in the competitive world.